Hey there, wonderful family of light. Whew. This week started rather intensely because we just felt another mini earthquake. The epicenter was in Italy, in Modena. It was something approximately similar to the earthquake that happened on the 20th of May that went along with the solar eclipse. And we are now preparing for the lunar eclipse, and I guess this is all connected. So many people would, like to say that this is caused due to human manipulation and things such as harps and so many things. And I would have to agree with Sister of Light from Australia, who's also recording fabulous videos with much information in them. And I don't think that, these are just fear mongering things that are causing people to believe that the dark side would have more, things in their hands, how to orchestrate everything within this realm and to manipulate how our shift is supposed to take place. But this is not possible. Remember, the divine plan is, this is something so divine. It's just no other words to describe it. This is something that is so powerful. The intellect of the divine mind is something that we cannot conceive of, not even a tiny fraction of it, but we can feel it. We can feel the magnitude when we really connect to source. The thing is that so many right now are scared also because of these shifts that are happening. I have people who say, "Oh, I fear that this would, this is going to strike in my area," and they still feel fear. And these earthquakes also, they're dragging this fear aspect, the survival mode that we still have in our programming, in our brains. Because all of us, we have parts of the brain. Part of this brain is also reptilian brain. We all have these different aspects because human vessel, as to how it was created and manipulated here in the third dimensional space of experimentation, of manifestation, it's how it was created from many different galactic DNA star races. So all those of you who fear, don't fear. I'm not the one who tell you what to do or what to don't and what to feel and what not to feel. But when we feel that fear and we feel attached to certain outcomes, we actually feed this energy and we forget how everything is actually orchestrated through the divine plan of perfection. And I usually talk to my sister of light, and we always say, what is to happen is to happen. And we're always here for each other, and we're always divinely protected and guided, especially those of us who are volunteers. We are here in a mission, and we will be supported. When we follow our path of the soul, when we listen to that space that was within, we're always connected. We're always connected. And when we're connected, we're protected. You're safe, because there is no such thing as an external safe place. It can only be internal. Okay? So when I awake, when earthquake kind of wakes me up, when I'm woken, I'm a bit shocked too, and I'm just shaking. But this is a natural reaction. But I don't feel that panic is that I wish to control these things, because I always say Gaia is shifting neutrally. It's humans who get to attach emotions to this. We are the ones who are attributing these things as bad, as disasters, and so to say. But there is no such thing. Gaia is shifting as she's supposed to shift. And I believe that these things that are happening now are all due to these cosmic shifts and due to all these alignments and events, and everything is just, taking place in its equation. Because as I said, now picture is kind of scattered, but there will be a certain time, in the time and space continuum, when this picture, within all these shattered parts, and the picture is not visible right now because everything seems so chaotic, but when it will, when it will stabilize, you will see the pattern. We will all see the pattern. We will see the grander picture. We will see what this is to be. So another aspect is, because there's a lot of confusion still out there. There's a lot of apparent darkness, but you have to know. I will speak about this. I will speak about the principle of polarity, of the opposing polarities that are always interchangeable, always interconnected, and always mirror the same magnitude, the same frequency to one another. This is one of the basic spiritual laws of creation, within creation, actually. So the opposing polarities, what does that mean? It means that, for instance, dark is not the opposite of light. They are all within the same energy. All energy is energy, and it's just that. It's just energy, and it's neutral. So when you have the aspect of this energy being created and manifested as negative. And you have the positive, all is neutral, but you have the dark and the so perceived light. Because in truth, all is just light. But then, there's different shades of gray within the black and white. And this is how things are manifested and different realities are being birthed. But when you have these aspects, like we like to say right now, there's so much darkness, appearing. What does that mean? It means at the same time, there's the same amount of light. Also within your own awakening process, because you have to remember there's micro and macrocosm here. It applies to what is happening in the grander scheme of things is also happening within your body template. So the more that you awaken, the more light codes that you activate within you, the more that dark parts will start appearing, and wanting to be resolved and purified and cleared away, which is happening right now. I feel it within me, these old mind programmings, because we've all had wounds. We've all had difficult relationships and things, patterns, beliefs that were, engraved within us that were not even our own. So right now, the more that we awaken to our light, the more that we grow spiritually, at the same time, we take a few steps back also to see what these patterns and old beliefs are, because we're dealing with those structures and we can only heal them when we feel them. So they need to come up to surface. And this is happening now. This weekend for me, for example, was very intense. And we all have these weekly shifts right now. Remember, I've been talking about this, that during the weekend, the energy shifts a lot. It's felt. So when you observe yourself and your natural reactions, you will see that at the same time, you are more spiritual, in essence, you always are in that way, but you awaken more of those codes of your true divine blueprint. The more that you awaken those, the more dark nature will come out of you as well, because you're healing yourself and also the collective. So this is a natural process. It's called embracing our shadow. It's walking through the darkness, through illuminating, as remembering that only light and love is real. So it's always about the same amount. So remember, whether you have a lot of these patterns resurfacing, you got to remember that your focus is to be on the light. And remember, this is due to yourself awakening to that degree that this is coming up to surface. So you are doing the work. Sometimes it appears that we're going backwards, but it's all spiral. Remember, you've just come to the different level of the spiral. You've come a bit higher. So it seems, there's the same issue, because it is in the same spot. You go around and you come to the same spot you were previously, but it's higher. So it's more profound in depth. So you might work on the similar issue, but from a different angle, meaning from a different depth. In physical manifestation, that comes from like a different approach, a different angle for you to view it from. So it's always the law of opposing polarity. As much light you will activate within you, as much dark it will come. And remember, dark is only that which was not illuminating by the light of the truth yet. And I've mentioned what the realms of illuminated truth are. They're always within us. I've talked about this in my video, A Love Story, and I have read my automatic writing to all of you. Right now, I would also like to mention how this is playing out right now in the terms of masculine and feminine. I'll read to all of you the segment that I wrote today about the Venus transit, which is happening in the beginning of June, and I've just seen this video today, so I was guided to speak about this because on Friday I had, Thursday evening I had a session on Skype with my friend, and we talked about this, and great insights came into me, something that I already was aware of, but I was actually guided to speak about this in my video as well. It's about the masculine and the feminine. Before that, I would like to mention that what I wrote today. So planet Venus, we all know, has a very powerful influence in our lives. What it usually presents, the Venusian energy. If you don't, check some of the astrological videos about this, because I won't be speaking about this in my video right now. The transit of Venus sure is an important cosmic event. It's not really an event, as I say, it's a multidimensional unfoldment. So this event that we are already feeling and shall keep feeling on a grander scale. An interesting insight about the transit of Venus, it's something that I've been watching today as well, has to do with thinking outside the box. Many people say it's about, the true love and all sorts of things and coming into awareness to inflame relationship. But still, I notice in people, there's a lot of that seeking in the external for that grander happiness, for that eternal love. But the true realistic shift is in something else. It's in thinking outside the box, like I say. So this transit of Venus has a lot to do with this thinking. It means to think in terms of what we are actually leaving behind. What is that of the old? Truly seeing it. And then what we are shifting towards, really feeling that, being honest with ourselves. What is this unfoldment about? In truth, it is all about the shift from the lower manifestation of the Venusian energy to the higher manifestation of it. This means shifting from the old ideals about what Venus represents. As a planet, every planet represents a certain aspect, and this aspect is also within us, micro, macro. So these older explanations of what Venusian energy is supposed to represent were evolving around pleasure, sensuality, soulmates, twin flames, external happiness, relationships, happiness in relationships, self-centered, egotistical love, a lot of that love which humans have distorted, not true source love, which is love of all, love within all that is, universal divine love. And of course, possessions, the material, because Venus is connected to Taurus, which is all about the earthly possessions, tangible things. So the shift is supposed to be to selfless and conditional love and devotion to upliftment of others, which is universal service to all. So it is about joining the aspects of yin and yang, reaching the balance between the divine mother and father. So this is what I wanted to talk about. The divine masculine, the divine feminine, divine feminine energies joining together, becoming one. And it's not just about, some people say that it's now about the awakening to the divine feminine. No, right now is about, not putting a certain, too much thought on just one aspect. The emphasis on, now it's all about the divine feminine. Now it's all about the joining aspects of the two, remembering the balance within the polar, the law of opposing polarities. So you have, so to say, you all know the Star of David, you also can imagine this by the Merkaba energy space that we all also have within us. And you can imagine this as two hearts, these, how are they called? You have the vessel, it's, of course, it's in 3D, and you have this. And when you put these two triangles, which are not actually triangles, you put them together, you get a Star of David, you get the Merkaba representation that is our light vehicle, so to say, as well. And this basically represents the two energies, one is spinning in one direction and the other is spinning in the other direction. I don't remember which is which right now, but to say intuitively from my perspective is this joining, this merging is what is important right now, and to realize that within this structure, this template, each are necessary at the same amount. This is the law of opposing polarity. They're the opposite, but they're the same, One is above it, one is beneath it, but they're equal, just opposing polarities. So as much as there is this energy, there is this energy in true harmonious nature of our spiritual self within who we truly are as divine love, how we were created. So this masculine and feminine principles are forming the Star of David, the so-called tetrahedron, the star's tetrahedron. So you have two opposite tetrahedrons. So what is important right now? I've been speaking a lot about the ascension and the descension. So you have to know both sides of the equation are necessary for the ascension. So it's not just about ascension, at the same time, it's always also about the descension. And I've been talking about this with my friend, and he said, so many masters speak about raising your awareness only up, up. This is the only stress, it's up. And this is what is happening right now, because this awakening to the divine feminine energy, again, it can cause extreme polarity, because it's not just about that. It's about the two aspects, remember. You have the chalice, the vessel, which is the feminine, and then you have this one, which is the masculine. I don't know how we call this one, this triangle. So you need to understand what is basically this moving upwards towards lesser density, towards better self-realization of who we truly are in spirit, remembering our true form in nature as to how we were created. It's about knowing this wholeness within the two. I've mentioned this in one of my videos in the beginning of the year, that I said masculine energy is very wounded on this planet right now. I will correct myself at this point, and I'll say when masculine energy is wounded to a certain degree, the feminine is wounded just the same. But it is expressed in this physical reality as a different expression of that wounded energy. So the patterns might appear differently. The physical manifestation will be different because of the opposing polarities, but it will be the same amount. Because in the universe, everything is reciprocal and everything is intertwined. And as much as there is something, as much as there is something else, there is as much as something else. This is due to this principle of creation, which has to do with the law of opposing polarities. So as much as we have the ascension, we also need to have descension. And as I say, again, I correct myself, both energies are equally distorted, manipulated, and wounded on this planet. But when you are shifting in one and you're repairing one, you're also repairing the patterns in another. It's becoming whole again as wholeness, the totality of both. So this is very important when you're starting to understand yourself, because when you understand this as a grander perspective, you will understand it within you as well, because it's connected. It's one and the same. It's micro and the macro. So this ascension process that so many are still asking about, they perceive it still too much, maybe linear, in a linear sense. In fact, it is multidimensional. It is of the nature of source. It is us moving through divine remembrance into our true, authentic nature. And this is to understand what this means. The vessel, the triangle, building and forming the unity of one, where we are not just the I, little ego. We're all, we're unity. So this means, you have to first empty this chalice, like I've written here. I said, empty the cup to receive. And when you receive, you will descend it in this state that we exist right here now. We need both. Because in this ascension process, we're moving higher. But if you don't have, the template of the grounding to anchor this higher understanding, when you just have this higher understanding and it exists somewhere, in this space that you won't be able to work with it, with this energy, well, you won't be able to ground it. You need that grounding part. So like I've written here, I said the masculine is going down, its grounding is descending, and the feminine is going upwards, is ascending, is gathering. So the feminine is holding the space. And the masculine is the action, it's grounding it, it's building it. And it doesn't mean the man and the woman, it means the principles within us all, the principles of yin and yang. So this is the understanding that we all need within this ascension and descension process. I wish I could call my channel Ascension Descension Pioneers. It would be much easier, because right now, we have shifted. It's like rubber band would expand in both extremes. Extreme, descent into matter, and now we wish to go extreme ascend into the spirit. But we need to merge it, to remember that ascend and descend is one and the same when you are wherever you are, and you have that source state activated within you always at all times, because these realms of illuminated truth are always within you. And when you activate, unlock this, unleash it, you become this master. You become master of this physical reality. Might be some other form of density, because every reality that is, physical in a way has a certain density. And certain rules, principles apply to it. So whatever realm you're in, you become the master of that realm once you merge the two, once you master these principles within you, the masculine, the feminine, the yin and the yang. And this is what the twin flame heart principles comes in. And this is what many teachers that speak about twin flames, that are authentic, that do have the true wisdom about this, know and speak about this and spread the awareness. So it is to internalize this within, and that's why so many say, who speak about the truth of twin flames, the nature of this relationship is to balance this first within you, and then a true reunion can happen. It's not about, the lower manifestation of Venus, seeking for that love externally outside of yourself. I think many illusions are going to be shattered around this period for those who truly wish to see that it's not about seeking that happiness externally and in a certain person that will satisfy all your needs and will become your prince that you have always dreamed of in your life. Of course, you are allowed to have dreams, but they need to be, within that balance. Ascending, descending, being firm in your knowing, which is real and grounded and raw, organic is how we truly are in the nature when we just flow with spirit and all creation. We understand this creation. So these principles are very important, and these true teachings, these true ancient wisdoms have been lost. They've been lost in translation, so to say, many times. and they've been hidden and laying dormant as many times as well. And all these structures that the ancients have built also carry this in etheric codes and this imprints. But still, so many people think that, when a certain pyramid will activate, when a certain structure will activate, and all this will be anchored, and people on earth will be able to receive this knowledge. But we forget that the most basic knowledge is within us. We are this living library. Our DNA stores all this, all this data. So I hope this helps anyone. I hope this law of opposing polarities becomes this reality within your life as well, because the realms of illuminated truth are waiting for us to discover, to unleash them, unlock them within us all. That's where they are. So take care and fear no fear. Ascension and descension are here. Remember, you got to walk this path of opening up and then grounding it. You are descending your highest aspect of you here now on earth. This is why you're here. You're not here to vibrate somewhere away. Otherwise, you would be just working, with earth plane from a spiritual realm, like many do, who are our helpers, who assist us on this journey. But we came here. We came here to do the actual groundwork. We came here to open up, to activate, to illuminate, and to transcend through all these of the old, and to descend it, to draw it forth here in this body. It's our vehicle. Use it wisely. It's the one you have. It's the one you got. It's the only one you got right now. So take care. I'll talk to you soon. Much love. Bye.